Welcome to the SYP Podcast. My name is Ian McNaughton, and we are redoing this pod because your boy Ian is a fuck up, and his mic didn't work yesterday. I don't know who to blame except for Steve Ballmer because it's all the Clippers' fault. However, we got another pod in store for you. Joining us today is SYP creator Scott. Scott, how are you doing?
Hey, doing well. It's time to run it back, so hopefully this one goes as good, if not better, as the last one. So
I love your German jersey because you're supporting Dennis Schroeder. Much appreciated. Also joining us today are special guests Arman and Fuji as we are doing our NBA pod today. Arman, Fuji, how are you guys doing?
We're doing great, man. Thank you.
Yes, because it is now 2.5 hours later that we are finally getting to this, but who cares? It's not like Arman chose to do 1 o'clock. No, that's all good. NBA season starts tomorrow, Tuesday, December 22nd, whatever fucking day it starts. I think it's tomorrow. We're going to go through some of our best, our favorite moves, overhyped players, underhyped players. I don't know which one you guys want to start with, or if there's a move or there's a player that you really want to get off, talk about first. Even though Arman and Fuji kept us late, we'll start with you guys if you have a favorite or least favorite move of the off season.
Yeah, I'll go with my favorite off season move. I really like the John Wall and Westbrook trade, and you know what? I think it was beneficial to both sides. And I love Westbrook, man. He's like in my top 5 PGs, not of all time, but like current NBA PGs. And
that would have been a big.
I love what he's doing, but it just didn't work out in Houston. And I feel like John Wall switch might actually work out pretty well.
I was gonna say
so who wins the trade, really? Like, who's the actual winner of the trade?
I would say it's got to be Houston, man. I think John Wall and the Beard are going to be a good duo.
Okay. So I had the same idea. I thought the Westbrook Wall trade was the best trade of the offseason, but I thought the Wizards won that trade because, again, Westbrook's rejuvenated. He came out of a poor culture in Houston. Now he's the guy in Washington. He and Beal are going to go off. I think it's going to benefit Washington a lot, and I think they'll be a good team.
That would have been a hot take, Arman, if you said Westbrook was a top 5 point guard of all time.
No, absolutely not. I had to correct that.
I was very at that trade. I was kind of like middle for I don't know. It's kind of you're kind of moving. I don't want to say you're kind of moving the same guy, but it's very much moving like a cap figure, and then Houston gets an extra first round pick out of it. However, I think the Wizards almost won that because they might make the playoffs this year. They might make the playoffs. I don't know how long it's been, but the Wizards might actually be good with Westbrook in Beal ? I'm gonna say they might be good. It was like a C+ trade for me. It didn't really do a whole lot for me either way.
I think the Houston Rockets committed highway robbery here. I think Wall, when healthy, can be a top 3 point guard in the NBA. And
That's a hot take right there.
I love the move as well that they got DeMarcus Cousins to go with Wall. They also picked up Christian Wood this offseason. I think Houston, if Harden was staying, I think they would have a really good run this year. But just the amount of assets you can get in return for James Harden, I think they could still make a very deep playoff run.
Are you saying Harden and Wood will be laying the wood down this season?
I mean, they totally could if Harden wanted to stay around there. But I think also that Houston got a first-round pick from Washington as well. Yeah. And since Washington's looking more for a lower seed in the East, I think that is a great acquisition as well.
My favorite trade, or I thought the best trade over the offseason, was the Al Horford trade. I thought Philly won that, where Al Horford got sent to Oklahoma City, as well as a first-round pick. And then Philly got Terrence Ferguson. They got Danny Green. Both are quality players who I think can contribute right away for Philadelphia. So kind of a win-win there. The Schroeder trade, the Lakers excelled with the Schroeder trade. I thought that was a really good piece. Also, maybe not a big trade, but I like the move to trade JaVale McGee to get cap space, essentially. And they also, I think they kept they kept McKinney.
Yeah.
So not a bad deal either. Any other best moves? Any other deals that we liked?
I like the Kelly Oubre move by the Warriors.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know a lot of you guys listening to this are Kelly Oubre fans, and I think it was a great pickup. I think he's a great defensive player. He can do what Kevin Durant did. I think not in the scoring and dominant wise, but just in the ability to stretch between guarding 1 to 5.
Interesting.
I'm afraid if I show any criticisms toward Kelly Oubre, I'll be called a simp. But
By who exactly?
Mostly Rav, because he called me that out loud in our sexual health class last year. That's a good sign. I think they spent like $40 million to get Oubre, but the Warriors have a bunch of money that they're willing just to throw around, and Kelly Oubre fits the bill. He fits the bill. So.
Okay.
Worst moves. Do we have a move that we all hate or dislike?
Yeah, that 4-team trade. What the fuck?
With Jrue Holiday.
Yeah, that one. I don't get it. I don't get the trade at all. I couldn't understand it at all. But I mean, basically the Thunder got a whole bunch of assets, which was good for them. And again, the Nuggets got one player. The Bucks got Jrue Holiday and Sam. Who's Sam Merrill? Like, I know who Jrue Holiday is, but I didn't understand the logic of the trade unless there was some sort of like cap space dump that teams were doing. Was that part of it, or?
Yeah, a lot of teams were dumping cap space in that, and Milwaukee was kind of forced to pull the trigger to acquire Jrue Holiday after the Bojan Bogdanovic or the Bogdan Bogdanovic trade fell apart.
Right.
They really had to acquire a new guy because they really do need to keep Giannis, and there was a real possibility Giannis could have left them or demanded.
Yeah. Right. Either way, yeah, that I don't understand that trade. That was the worst trade of the offseason, in my opinion. But yeah,
I'm kind of with Scott on that boat. I didn't really like the Jrue Holiday trade from Milwaukee. I thought you gave up a lot to get Jrue Holiday. I thought Oklahoma City made out well in the deal. I thought New Orleans made out well in the deal. I thought Denver made out well because they got my guy RJ Hampton. So I think everybody. I mean. And not to say that Jrue Holiday's a bad player, because he isn't. I just think for what you're giving up to get Jrue Holiday, you could have given that up to get James Harden. Not that I don't know if Harden's going to Milwaukee or wanted to play for Milwaukee, but just thought I'd throw that. You know what I mean. You get what I'm saying. Like it was just a lot.
List of destinations that you'd like to go to.
Yeah. So I don't know.
A lot of strip clubs there.
Pardon?
A lot of strip clubs there.
Yeah, I hear Milwaukee is a real strip club haven for many people.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how you feel about the Jrue Holiday move, Arman, or if you have another.
I personally I didn't dislike it as much as you two because you know what, they did give up a lot of prospect players, like future players, like young players with lots of potential, but. You know what? The Bucks have a superstar on their team right now. His name is Akumpo, and if they want to keep this guy, if they want to keep this guy,
do you want to say that name again, please?
Akumpo.
Can you spell that?
Yeah, Akumpo.
Oh God.
No. Okay, listen up though. Listen up. Just a few. If they want to keep this guy. They need to build around him. They need to get him some strong teammates so they actually have a good chance of making it to the conference finals.
This is Antetokounmpo you're talking about, right?
Yes, I'm talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo.
God.
Antetokounmpo.
I wasn't sure, but thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah.
Thanks, bud.
There are better options, They could have looked at Chris Paul. They could have looked at guys like Victor Oladipo as well, and I think there are some missed opportunities. I know they wanted a point guard. I think Chris Paul would have been the best winner there, but yeah.
I just don't know why you would spend that much capital or that much resources to get Jrue Holiday. I feel like you could have spent that on somebody else, but hey, what do I know? I'm not in the NBA, GM office. I'm just on a podcast.
I think it is so you can offer max extensions to Giannis and Middleton, but we'll have to see.
We'll have to see.
I
Best free.
think.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
before we get to best anything, I still want to talk about the worst, man, because there are some really bad deals that were made.
Are we talking about? We're talking about signings now. We're going on to the worst signings over the offseason.
There we go, because I wanted to talk about that.
All right,
I need to get
off.
something off my chest, if you don't mind.
Go off, King.
Paul George, who is he, and why is he worth $226 million? What has he done to prove that? The Clippers signed a max deal with this guy that is worth $226 million. He has done nothing to prove that he's worth that money. He basically doesn't belong there.
I don't want. I kind of want. Not that I really want to, but I do kind of. There is part of me that wants to be like devil advocate guy who's like, hey, he hasn't really had many breaks, man. Just give him an opportunity. And no, yeah, that's a shitty deal. I didn't like that deal either.
Also, how about the LA keeping KCP?
Also a shitty deal. I didn't like that deal either.
KCP carries, man. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
And again, like 3 of us are wearing Lakers stuff. Like this is a partial Lakers celebration, and still, even after winning the championships, like I don't like KCP. Why did we sign him? Like there's still like animosity a little bit. Scott, do you have a worse signing or a signing you didn't like?
Yeah, the Gordon Hayward deal to Charlotte. I didn't understand it. The Hornets made the same mistake with Nick Batum, who was good in Portland, and then he went to Charlotte and he was kind of shit. And now you're getting a guy, Hayward, he's 30, he's injury riddled, he's not getting any better. He's getting older, if anything, getting worse. And how much I don't know exactly what they paid for him, but it was a lot.
I got 4 years and $120 million written down.
Yeah, it's $30 million a year. I don't think he's worth that money. If he's healthy and he's on his game, I don't think he's worth that much. So nothing against Gordon Hayward, he's a good player, but I don't think he's worth the money. And the risk reward I think is too high for the Hornets to take. And I mean, I guess they needed to get to the floor, but still, I don't think it's worth it. It wasn't a good deal.
It felt desperate.
Right.
It felt
a
bit.
Deal, to be honest, I think Gordon Hayward is a great personality in the locker room, a great mentor for younger players. I think if he is healthy, I think it's just an amazing added bonus. But I think right now, you're Charlotte, you have guys like Mikal Bridges, you have LaMelo Ball coming in now. You have a lot of young players, not a lot of pieces. You're kind of just trying to develop your talent, and maybe if they're good this year, they can compete for a playoff spot. But you don't.
Are
really
they better than the Wizards? Are they better than the Wizards?
I don't think so.
No.
But
they're still a young team.
Lots of teams can prove us wrong. We saw that with Oklahoma City last year.
My take on Charlotte is that Jordan just brought in a bunch of guys he thinks he can beat 1-on-1. Like that's like he thinks right now he can beat Gordon Hayward, not 1-on-1, and that's worth $120 million.
He probably could.
I bet he could.
Probably. And then
I take it personally. So.
But then afterwards, like after they're done playing 1-on-1, then Hayward's like, okay, but let's play Fortnite together 1v1, and I'll beat you there. And Jordan's like, I ain't got time for this child shit, and then he just walks away. That's how I imagine that conversation goes down.
Anyways,
worst free agent signing. Yeah, you guys touched on Hayward. You guys touched on KCP. I thought Davis Bertans got a lot more money than I thought he should. I mean, I like him. I think he's a good player. I just don't think he's worth $80 million over 5 years. It's guys like that you need to underpay. Like you need to where not to say that he shouldn't go and get his money. Like if he can go get $80 million, go get $80 million. But if you can find guys like that to just get at like half that, I think you're doing well.
I think Washington really wanted to look for a playoff spot, and they thought Bertans would really help them. I mean, he's a great perimeter defender, amazing shooter, and he was looking for a bigger contract than he previously had, and I guess Washington really wanted to lock him up.
I can't believe he's not in San Antonio anymore. I can't believe Pop gave up on him too quick. All right. Best free agent signings. Do we have free agent signings that we like? I'll put it out there for anybody. If anybody wants to start with a free agent signing they really like.
I'll just go quickly here. Rondo to the Hawks. He's a good veteran piece. Rondo's the GOAT, anyways.
Isn't he in trouble?
I don't know, but I think he's a good piece in Atlanta. And he'll be a good mention to Trae Young, who's an up and coming superstar in this league, and Rondo will kind of show him the way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I like that signing as well. Arman, Fuji, you guys got a signing that you really like?
Yeah, I know what your favorite free agent signing would be if he actually got to sign in. Yeah, you want to talk about that a little? What happened to Jeremy Lin?
We'll touch on that another time. I feel a lot less emotionally vulnerable.
It's still fresh. The wounds are still fresh. So what happened basically is he didn't get his release letter on time. So he wasn't out there in the market on time to be able to sign a free agent deal. And he missed the due dates. So he missed the deadline. So now he's done. He can't sign.
Well,
we're not going to be.
So what you're saying is he's ineligible to play this year because he didn't get the release form
letter on time.
Wow,
it's the stupidest thing ever.
Huh.
Well, it's a good thing, the NBA and the Chinese Basketball Association have such a good relationship. So maybe we can make something happen next year.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say Fred. I like the Van Fleet signing. I thought the Raptors did a good job there. It'll be interesting to see how him and Siakam work together as leaders next year, because it is just them. Like, those guys are expected to score 20 each night now. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Montrezl Harrell, I really like. I thought that was a great signing. And the other one I wanted to throw out there was Aaron Baines, who is just replacing Marc Gasol as the big man on the Raptors. So
I think that's a great deal.
Those are really the three that popped out for me for best free agent signings.
The only one I would have to say is Kelly Oubre, even though I touched on that earlier, but still a great deal.
Gotta bring it up again because Kelly Oubre is such a star.
Are you one of the dudes who's in Kelly Oubre's comment section with every Instagram post?
Nope. I'm just there to check on my girl, see if she's liking the post or not. No comment.
I don't think you're a man I don't think you're a male in 2020 or 2021 almost if you haven't had your girl like a Kelly Oubre post. Let's discuss most overhyped players coming into this season. Who do we think are the most overhyped players coming into 2020, 2021?
I think Ian on our first attempt at this pod, you said anyone with the initials L ball.
Yes,
I'm gonna agree with you there straight up. Any initial L ball, it's just getting way too much hype. You already know.
Yes, in case you're confused, listeners, viewers. So I wrote down L ball on my piece of paper here, not specifically to any which ball brother. I just put L ball.
Not any to every one of them. I gotta say, I half agree with you, but I feel like LaMelo so far is deserving the hype he's getting.
Okay.
I think
fair enough. I think of the three brothers, he is the one that should be talked about the most because I think he's the most skilled.
Prodigy child. He's I think like of the three brothers, he is the one if anyone.
He's the best player. Yeah. I'd agree with that.
I think LaMelo, he does draw a lot of Lonzo comparisons, especially surrounding his jump shot, his little unorthodox form, but I think he's a much different player than Lonzo, to be honest. I think he's a better passer off the bat. He's a much better finisher. It's not even close to when Lonzo entered the league. That was Lonzo's biggest weakness and is one of LaMelo's biggest strengths.
And he's a good shooter.
Yeah, I think he's a much more consistent shooter than Lonzo. And, I think he'll have more success right off the bat.
Yeah, I totally agree. The only thing that's being criticized about this kid right now is his shooting form and how it can be compared to Lonzo. But you know what? If it's going in,
if it works,
totally.
Right? Yeah.
If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yep. Anybody other than L Ball that's overrated?
Of course. Draymond Green.
Draymond Green.
He's a great smack talker. He's a great bully, but absolutely the worst basketball player.
Jesus, wow. Okay.
Without his former teammates when they were injured, both Thompson and Steph, this dude averaged 9 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. So he is nothing without his teammates. That's
almost a double-double, though. Come on.
Oh, get out of here. That's only because he got like 30 minutes a game.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, if you're a glue guy and what you're gluing together is, what did he have really? Eric Paschal, Wiggins for half a year, and I can't even name any other players, man. I'm be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
Kevin Looney.
Is that his name? Together there,
But is that his job? He holds the team together.
Yeah, he's definitely the core of that team.
I doubt that.
He's the most active defender. He's the best defender on that team. He can guard positions 1 to 5. No, Draymond is definitely in a different league than Clay, defensively.
Okay.
That's a hot take, but anyways.
I got a couple overhyped players. I don't know. Okay, I don't know if Kuz is necessarily overrated. I think Lakers fans have him like equally rated, but then like the national media is confused by Kuz because they think he's great because LeBron kept him and he didn't trade him to New Orleans.
Great.
Rudy Gobert, and I'm not saying this because of COVID. I really do I was saying this before COVID, where it's like this guy is like. You can get whatever you're paying, especially now with the extension, because he got like the $200 million extension. You can get Rudy Gobert's production in 2 guys that's worth half of what you're paying Gobert.
So he's not necessarily overrated, just overpaid.
Sure, but it's just like you can get I don't know. I just feel like you can get that value from a big demon elsewhere. I just feel like I feel like you can find that somewhere else. I wanted to put this out. Paul George, by the way. Paul George, overrated. I wanted to put this out there as well. Is Tyler Hero even the best white guy on the Miami Heat?
Yes.
I think so.
Is it because he has a Jack Harlow song named after him?
I mean, he does have good tendencies, but that's not why. No.
I'm not saying I think he's overrated. I just wanted to throw that out there just to see how you guys feel about Hero. Or maybe Duncan Robinson's better. Just putting that
They're
out there.
comparable, but I think Hero's just better.
All right.
He's more clutch.
I think Hero's a better defender as well.
All right. That's fair. Totally fair. Underhyped players. Who are some underhyped players that need to get love heading into this season?
I have to go last on this one.
All right, I'll start it. I'm going to say Van Fleet.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Domantas Sabonis.
Yeah.
I think that dude's underrated. I think he's underappreciated. Puts up a double-double every game. I love big white guys from Gonzaga, so, Sabonis gets my my love there. And I'm going to say Damian Lillard. I don't know if we appreciate Lillard enough. I don't know.
We do.
I like that.
We do? Okay, because I
We
mean...
do.
No, I like that you think he's underrated, because he is. He doesn't get enough appreciation at all. And the fact he plays in Portland really doesn't help his case. But either way, I think he should be appreciated more. He's one of the most clutch shooters, if not the best shooter I've ever seen in my lifetime. I put him in the conversation with Curry and
Ray Allen
as top 3-point shooters in the 2000s since I've been alive. Another guy, and I have two other guys. Donovan Mitchell in Utah.
Okay.
I think he's underrated. I think he's underappreciated for how good and how dynamic he is as a player. As well as Jaylen Brown in Boston. I think the Celtics are Tatum's the best player on the Celtics, but I think Brown has a lot to do with their success, just because of how versatile he is on the court and how he can play. He's a very good two-way player. He kind of reminds me of he's like a poor man's Kawhi in a way. In a way.
All right. Fuji, do you got
Yeah.
any underappreciated, underrated players heading into this year?
Yeah, my biggest one is going to be Victor Oladipo.
Ooh.
I think we could definitely see him on the move this free agency, and I think it's going to come out of nowhere to people. He's an all-star player. He's healthy now. He just came back from an injury. He barely came back from playoffs. He wasn't, in full form. We didn't really see him at 100%. I think it definitely could have helped them in the series against Miami. Another guy I'm looking at, I think John Wall, definitely, and DeMarcus Cousins. They're both healthy, and I think the two of them, great duo. And, I think Houston, generally, Houston's going to be huge this season, even without Harden.
Okay.
Christian Wood, another player that's really slept on as well.
All right. I like that. I like the sounds of that. Arman, you said you wanted to go last. Who is an underappreciated player?
Yeah, none of you are gonna like this, but I think I'm gonna go with the bubble beast, TJ Warren. He's my underappreciated player. But before you roll your eyes, let me just tell you why. I mean, this dude averaged 35 points, 6 rebounds. He was shooting 60.5% up until he faced Butler, of course. But you know what? I think this dude is not recognized enough, and he's not being paid enough. You were talking about who were you talking about? Who got 80 million, Ian, earlier?
Van Fleet.
Yeah, no, not Van Fleet. You were talking about.
Oh, Davis Bertans.
Yes, and if he deserves 80 million, I mean, come on, we're paying TJ 47 million. That's nothing, and he's definitely more valuable. And
wait,
hold on.
Hold on. TJ Warren is more valuable to the Pacers than Davis Bertans is to the Wizards.
That is my take.
That should be your caption, Ian. That's got to be.
Yeah, there you go. There's your YouTube thumbnail caption. That's my take. I think he's highly underappreciated and underpaid.
Here's the thing. You said when you started a bubble beast. And you didn't mention Damian Lillard and Devin Booker.
Because Dame gets his bag, Dame gets his money, and he gets love from his fans. Even though you guys just said he doesn't. TJ Warren, on the other hand, nobody ever talks about TJ Warren.
I don't think many people know TJ Warren exists. If I'm being honest.
Totally. And this guy was shooting 60% from the field.
In 10 games? That's not that big of a. There's not a lot of games to work with there. If you said 100 games, okay, he should. And he wasn't as appreciated.
Can do right. I mean, which player had 100 games of great games consecutively?
Probably Jordan.
Probably, yeah.
LeBron's
probably had something like that.
All right.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. So
the 2 goals.
TJ Warren was on the Phoenix Suns, averaging 27 points a game, and then he was traded to Indiana for cash considerations. There's something wrong with the guy.
I don't think
he just gets tossed around.
I don't know if there's something wrong with him. I just don't think he's underappreciated. He's not even a top 3 guy. Is he a top 3 guy in Indiana? Because you have Oladipo, you have Sabonis, Brogdon,
Turner,
and then Warren.
No, I would put Warren 3.
I put him at 4.
Interesting. We have a divided group here.
I don't even know if Warren's a top 3 pacer. Anyways,
hey, He's still 27. Time will tell. You never know.
Let's talk about our teams. We're gonna go to our least favorite teams. Now, these are not teams like the Clippers that we hate personally. These are just teams that we are not excited for, not really thrilled for heading into next season. Scott, if you have a team that you're not looking forward to next year, go for it.
Yeah, I don't like the Rockets. I don't like their culture. It's a hard and rules culture there. I am just not a fan, and the organization just seems very disorganized. And the fact they lost Westbrook for, I mean, obviously they got Wall in a first round pick back, which is good. It's nothing wrong with that. I just don't like the culture. I don't think it's gonna work down in H Town. So, I don't like the Rockets. I've never really loved the Rockets. They just never been my team, anyways. But I think this year it's gonna be extra noticeable, especially with the whole Harden debacle. About yeah,
Right.
it's not a good situation.
I think that's a fair take, Scott. I think that's a fair take. And you know what? I was watching a video today about Harden. Just some highlights from his first season plays with the Rockets, and he was totally different when he first came to Houston. Right? He was like this playmaker guy who wasn't selfish with the ball at all. He would dribble in, he would pass it out, dish it out, and then finish like basically everything he did, but he would hold the ball less, more team play than instead of just Harden handling the ball, doing his thing and then shooting it, step back, fade away. And you know what? That guy looked like so much more valuable player than who he is now. So I have to agree with you that Harden has evolved into a better scorer, but maybe a more toxic teammate for the team.
I would agree with that.
have to agree
Yeah.
with you that.
Yep. That's a good call.
But in my opinion, it's always fun to just watch him do what he does.
Yeah, that's fair.
Team Arman Fuji teams you're not really thrilled on in this upcoming season.
Detroit. Definitely Detroit. They have really no plan. They lost, I don't know what their plan is, honestly. They lost Christian Wood, who was their best young player. They're keeping around Blake Griffin. They're not really looking to move him at all. Even though you could probably get something better. They lost Andre Drummond. They moved Andre Drummond, which was your best player. And, they're just keeping around veterans, like Blake Griffin, Derrick Rose, and they don't have any, really good young players.
Scott,
I see you on two screens, Scott.
Yeah, you got double action going on here, Scott.
Here, I got it.
Weird.
I got it. Yeah, here we go.
No,
Here we go.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You know what? I agree. They should just close down the whole franchise. Actually, it's just not working.
What about Leandro? What happened there? He didn't play a single preseason game.
They must have known that he sucked when he showed up. Arman, is there a team that you're not too thrilled with?
You know what? I'm just not excited to see the Warriors play this year. And not like I am any year. It's just I don't like watching their games. It does not give me joy to watch the Warriors play.
But don't you have a Warriors shirt? Aren't you a fan?
Wow, thanks, Scott.
You're welcome.
No, well, the funny thing is that I think Houston's actually a lot worse to watch play than Golden State, but whatever.
I think Golden State's a lot more fun. They move the ball better. They're a better ball movement team.
Better team chemistry too, and they just
100%.
work with each other really well.
100%.
I'm gonna say a team that I really don't like are the Bulls.
Okay.
I really didn't like. I didn't like their draft. They signed Billy Donovan as their head coach, and he's fine, but
Yeah.
Yes, there were some technical errors.
Okay, buddy.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
Whatever you say.
I was just saying how I'm not big on the Bulls this upcoming season. I didn't like their draft. Billy Donovan's okay. He's not a great coach. He's a fine coach. He's like the C+ coach that you hire in 2K in my GM.
Did he win Coach of the Year?
Did he? I don't know. He might have. I could be completely wrong. maybe 1 year with Westbrook and what's his name, Durant. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, I mean Zach LaVine's going through his Devin Booker phase of where the team's ass, but he's actually good. I like Kobe White. I don't mind marketing.
I like Kobe White.
I think there are some pieces there. I just think I think the Bulls are going to be the worst team in the NBA this year. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better with them. I mean, they got rid of Jim Boylen, who, if you see him, if you watch like clips of him on YouTube and just how awful of a coach he actually was, it's quite funny. So maybe Donovan will be a step up from that. But the Bulls, I don't really like as a team. I'm gonna also say the Hornets. They give me fake contender vibes. They give me like we're trying really hard, but we're actually awful. Type of feelings. I don't know. Again, I think there are some pieces there. I'm not big on the Melo, and maybe that's because I've already been burned once with Lonzo. I was a big Lonzo guy, and I don't know. I have to wait and see him with LaMelo in the regular season. Devontae Graham might be good.
Yeah, I think he'll continue to get better.
And Sacramento. I'm gonna also say Sacramento. Shitty city.
When do we ever get excited to watch Sacramento again?
I'm sure most of their fans are pretty apathetic at this point. So yeah, Sacramento. Teams that we are excited to watch this upcoming season. Not your favorite team, just a team that we're looking forward to watching.
Lakers, Houston. I'm really excited to see the Nets as well. I think they have a lot of good players coming off the bench. And I think Kyrie will play better. I think, he is pretty cool with Kevin Durant. I think he'll play better. Regardless of how it goes, it'll be fun to watch. And, definitely want to see KD back in action again.
You think he's going to burn his sage after every game or before?
During.
While he's on the bench, Kyrie is burning sage, and then he just tosses it to the opposing bench, and it's like, hey, dude, You can't be doing this. It's like, no, dude, I'm just cleansing, like, the bad vibes in here, man.
Yeah, Kyrie is really the Kanye West of the NBA.
Can't really argue with that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch more of Luka. I want to see Luka do great things.
All right.
And Kristaps, poison god.
Oh, yeah.
Of course,
can't
forget him.
I love my European players.
Dallas is basically Team Europe. No cap.
Their new gold jerseys are ugly. I will say that. They have awful gold jerseys.
Hopefully they don't wear them that often.
Hopefully not. Scott,
I like the Heat. I think they kept most of the core.
I love the Heat's jerseys. Are we still talking jerseys?
No, well, okay. The Miami Vice jerseys are unreal. The black and the blue, and there's like the
How about the pink blue one?
Like that one's really good too. But their team is awesome. I think Dragic, Hero, Butler, Robinson. I'm a huge Bam guy. So yeah, watch out for the Heat are looking good, and they might it could be another Heat Lakers NBA Finals. It could be. That's my thought right now. So.
I'm gonna say my team that I'm looking forward to watching next year is the Toronto Raptors. The Tampa Bay Raptors. I just think they have really good chemistry. I like Nick Nurse as a coach. Is it because he wears glasses? Partially, yes. I am a sucker for guys who wear glasses. But I just think that Siakam and Van Vliet will take steps up this year, as well as OG, Boucher. I like the Bane signing. This team has the possibility to be number one in the East. Don't sleep on the Raptors. Like, the Raptors have a really good chance to get back to the finals. I don't know if they'll win it, but I think they'll have a really good season this year, and I'm excited to watch them play. The Tampa Bay effect is going to be fascinating because that's part of the Raptors thing, is having the home court advantage, and they just don't have that this year, unfortunately. But
well, no team will really have that because, again, you're not allowed fans in a lot of stadiums. So
they're allowed to have like 3,200 people or 3,800 people in their arena in Tampa.
Oh. A lot of snowbirds do go to the Florida area, and that includes Tampa Bay and Toronto. There's a lot of Jays fans down there because their farm system's in Dunedin. So, you never know. Maybe they'll get some Raptors fans. It'll get loud as it can for like a third capacity in a stadium, but we'll see. See how it goes.
All right. Also, I didn't have this on the agenda, but MVP picks. Who do we like as an MVP this year? I'm gonna assume Arman, you're gonna take Luka. You think Luka's gonna win MVP this year because you like big Europeans.
I do like my Europeans. Yes, Luka is one of my MVP candidates for sure.
Scott, do you have an MVP candidate or a guy you like winning the MVP this year?
Hard to sleep on Giannis again. Again, if he's still in his prime, he's young. Like if he does, he could very well do it again. He could win the MVP. And I could you could argue for like 6 or 7 guys here. Dame, LeBron as well. I just think it's Giannis's kind of time to do it, and I think he'll do it again back to back.
Fuji, who's winning the MVP this year?
My hot take is going to be Kevin Durant.
Ooh.
That is a hot take.
Ooh.
Very healthy. He's got a good team around him.
But is he very healthy?
I'm assuming he's very healthy. He's sat out the entire year.
I mean, yeah, but he just came off an injury. It's hard to say that.
Watch him get injured in the first game. Just watch.
He did come back. He played lengthy minutes. It means, that he thinks he's healthy. Staff thinks he's healthy.
Maybe.
They were talking.
It's still risky.
They were talking about last year. I seem to remember like the end of last season where they were saying, if Brooklyn made the playoffs or whatever, he might be able to play. I don't know if there was any. I don't know if there's anything concrete or who knows how real any of it was. If they were just throwing smoke out, but I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be good. I like that as a value pick, by the way. If you're gonna sprinkle some money on some MVP betting, maybe look at Durant. My hot take, I'm gonna say LeBron wins the MVP this year. I'm gonna say LeBron just goes off. Even though he's got a better team, I think that helps his chances. He was focusing more on assists last year. I kind of think he'll want to score more this year. Maybe he'll be the assist guy. Maybe he'll want to be contributing as well. But I'm going to go with LeBron winning the MVP in 2020.
I think that's fair.
That's a good take. I like that.
That is a good take because when you think, why should LeBron get the MVP? Well, why shouldn't he? We're running out of reasons to not why we shouldn't give the MVP to this guy.
True.
He's just absolutely great.
So it'll be interesting to see. Maybe him and AD are gonna split votes too. Who knows? That could be really interesting. All right.
Yep.
Playoff and championship picks. I'm gonna throw a bunch of teams at you, and I'm gonna ask you if you think these teams are playoff teams. We didn't talk about them. The New Orleans Pelicans with Zion. Are they a playoff team?
Not this year. Next year.
Okay.
2022, they'll make playoffs.
2022.
Yep.
Arman, Fuji, you're on the same boat?
I don't think they're a playoff team this year.
I think it depends mostly on Brandon Ingram or if Lonzo Ball bounces back in his bubble.
Okay. Phoenix Suns with Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Playoff team?
Yep, playoff team.
Yeah.
Memphis.
Nope.
Ja Morant. Nope.
I think no.
Not this year.
Atlanta Hawks with Trae Young and the recently signed Rondo. Are they a playoff team?
I think they are. I think they also have Bogdan Bogdanovic, and they also signed Danilo Gallinari.
They'll be an 8th seed.
They still have Capella around.
And
I agree.
And now our championship picks. Arman and Fuji, I'll start with you guys. Who's winning the Who's coming out of the East and who's coming out of the West and who's winning the finals?
I think it's Lakers Raptors.
I think that's a fair take. I definitely think the Lakers will come out the West. I think it's too soon to say who's going to come out the East. It just looks so complicated right now. I think we need to be a couple more weeks into the season to be able to say anything.
Okay.
So,
I say Lakers Heat for me. I think it's going to be a rematch of last year's finals, and if it's not the Heat, then like Arman said, there's a bunch of teams that it could be. But I'm thinking the Heat are going to persevere, and they're going to go back to back at least out of the East. I don't think they'll win, but they'll be there again.
I'm obviously taking the Lakers out of the West. I'm wearing the hat. I'm wearing the championship shirt. It would be stupid if I didn't say the Lakers were coming out of the West. I have the Boston Celtics, though, coming out of the Eastern Conference. I'm going to say the Lakers play the Celtics in the finals. I'm going to guess that there's going to be 50% capacity at each arena. Hopefully we can get fans back in with some vaccines. That's kind of my hope. And I'm picking the Lakers to go back-to-back so that Fuji and I can wear these or wear our gear, and then we can have our celebration on top of the Chief.
Oh yeah.
That's what I got happening in 2021.
If Lakers repeat, I'll come hike the Chief with you guys.
You gonna drink champagne and smoke
Yeah,
cigars?
pick up another bottle for me too.
No, don't buy your own stuff. Any other final thoughts, takeaways, stuff you got to get off your chest before we end the pod, guys?
Yeah, you want to go ahead?
Yeah. What move would you like to see in this offseason? Well, what move would you like to see teams make this season?
Good question. I'm gonna say it has to be something with San Antonio, whether it's Aldridge or DeRozan. I don't know who goes where or what. I really like the Spurs. I want to root for the Spurs. I like Pop. I like their guards. I think Pop does a really good job of building around the team's strengths and trying to make them as competitive as possible. I just think they're going to be way overcrowded. Like I don't think the Spurs are a playoff team, and I'm sure they're going to try and sell assets as much as they can. Whether that's DeRozan, Aldridge, maybe one of their guards, who knows? But I'm going to say the Spurs move a star of some kind.
Yeah, I'd say so too. Definitely, I'd like to see DeRozan move
Back to Toronto.
Back to Toronto. Yeah.
I would love to see that. Actually, I think it makes great sense. Another spot he could end up in is on the Clippers. Actually, I think the Clippers love their guys who can flex between the 2 and 4, and DeRozan fits that.
I would like to see Houston keep the beard, keep John Wall, and acquire a strong center, and really shoot for it for this year.
You don't like DeMarcus Cousins or Christian Wood?
You know what? DeMarcus Cousins is just not it for me. No.
It's the boogie for Arman.
But Boogie is not it for me.
Boogie's not it. I like the Blazers. I love Dame. I love CJ. Carmelo's still there. They just signed Enes Kanter, and they still have Whiteside, I think his name is.
Yeah,
I think
Hassan Whiteside.
Yeah,
they have a good team. I like the Blazers lineup, and I think they'll do some damage in the West. I'm thinking top 4 in the Western Conference at least. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, do you think the Blazers go and get somebody else? Do you think they add one more piece?
It's hard to say.
You could definitely get Whiteside moved around. I think you could.
Yeah, like get a better guy at the 4 or 5 spot.
I'd love to see Whiteside go to Houston. Yeah. That would be a great move for Houston.
With Portland, they've been talking about like the Kevin Love trade. Like Kevin Love to Portland just seems like a really good fit since he's from the area. I don't know if it'll actually happen for once, but it's just food for thought. Any other thoughts, takeaways?
Where's Harden landing? He probably is going to get traded. Where is he landing? And who do you think has the best package for him?
I love to fuck around with the ESPN trade machine. I don't know if you do that, Fuji or Arman, or you, Scott.
I love that, man.
If you just fuck around in your spare time with the ESPN trade machine. I had one here that was really good, but I hope I didn't delete it. I think I had Harden going to Charlotte, but you guys talk. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, never mind. So yeah, I have on here. Charlotte acquires James Harden in exchange for Terry Rozier, Cody Zeller, and LaMelo Ball. That was my trade is successful. I don't know.
That really depends on what Charles is trying to. I see it. It really depends on what they're trying to do this year, right? They have all these young players, and they're definitely not trying to win this year. They're not trying to win anytime soon. They're just developing these players, acquire more skill along the way, and it would be changing their whole direction if they acquired Harden.
Oh, I don't think this trade's actually going to happen. I just love to fuck around and just like figure out what kind of trades like can happen. Like,
Yeah,
I just want to.
That didn't seem very serious.
I want to see how I can get Giannis onto the Lakers and how like ridiculous like a 3 or 4 team trade would be to get Giannis onto the Lakers.
I thought he was already on the Lakers.
God. And yeah. a serious spot, Harden probably goes to Brooklyn. Brooklyn just does like a KG Paul Pierce thing where we'll give you our entire franchise's future for one guy.
I do like those deals. Yeah, I think that would be the best for both parties. I think Nets try and go into a win now mode. And then Houston also gets a lot of good players. You know, they're likely to get Spencer Dinwiddie. They're likely to get Karis LeVert in that deal. Good young players that can also provide, you know, in the starting lineup or off the bench. You know, they could also potentially even get Jared Allen. Depends how much the Nets are willing to give up. I think that is the best one you can go for. But if you really do want to play it safe, I think you could also go with Golden State, acquiring, you know, Andrew Wiggins, Eric Bashal, and, you know, draft picks. You could get lots of draft picks from the Warriors right now.
I wonder how much Arman would hate that if Harden went to the Warriors.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting move. I really don't know what I would think of that. But I would like to say something. If the is the Nets thing, the Nets Rockets trade, is that going to happen? Is it talked about, or are we just like
talked about? Talked about currently that Harden has made available.
Right.
Are Golden State, Houston, Philadelphia, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee and Miami.
Right. I mean, if he really wants to go there, there's nothing to stop him. He has been wanting to go for 2-3 years now. But the thing is, where do you put him? Which coach do you put him under? And you really need to change everything to be able to play with this guy, because he is so much different than any other player in the league, and that is not necessarily a good thing.
True.
Interesting.
I'd like to talk about the Nets. I don't believe that KD is fully healthy and he is able to carry the Nets to the playoffs, or they will make it to the playoffs, obviously, but they will not be a contender. They will not be a serious contender for the finals. I mean, KD just came off this serious injury. He tore his Achilles, and that's a very serious injury, and I don't think we can rely on this guy to carry the team. And we definitely cannot rely on Kyrie. We've seen that in the Celtics. The guy's not a leader. He cannot shoulder a team himself. So I really think that the Nets are overhyped right now. A lot of people have put the Nets in their bracket for making it to the finals, at least, if not winning the chip. And I think that's bogus. I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't see it happening.
I have the Nets finishing 6th in the East this year. If you're really ambitious, you can throw some money on Brooklyn to win up. Like, why not? They got pretty good odds. Like, it's a long shot, but why not throw a little money on it and maybe something will happen on making the finals?
I might as well bet on a dead horse.
Here's the thing. I believe in Durant. I think Durant, I trust Durant. It's Kyrie that's like, yeah, you just, when you got somebody like him on, it's, I don't know. When you got Kyrie, it's a bit concerning.
When Kyrie buys in, he is, a top 5 point guard. I think when he doesn't buy in, he gets lofty. He doesn't try on defense. He tries to look more for himself. But you could see when he started in Boston, before he got injured, he was looking like an MVP candidate. And, he was averaging nearly 10 assists a game. He was scoring over 20, 24, 25 a game as well before he did get hurt. And then, his ego got the best of him when people said, Jason Tatum was doing all the heavy lifting and they made the Eastern Conference Finals without Kyrie. They didn't need him. I think it hurt his ego, definitely, even though he likes to say that he's egoless.
He's a very emotional player.
I think if he buys in, I think if Kyrie's bought into it, I think the Nets are a top 4 lock.
I don't. It's the Steve Nash kind of hiring was weird as well. Because Nash is
I don't
never.
think it's a bad hire.
I liked it personally.
I think Nash will be gone before Durant or Kyrie will be. Like I just think the players have so much leverage. He'll just get a new coach if this doesn't work out. They already got the last coach fired, who I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. Kenny Atkinson. They already got him fired, so they might as well fire another one if they have so much leverage, because Brooklyn's invested so much in those two players.
I think the Nash deal makes the most sense, to be honest, because I think Kyrie can have a coach that he can be much more impressionable with. Kyrie's voice can be heard more since Nash is new to the coaching thing. People were like, why didn't they get Tyronn Lue? I don't think Kyrie wants Tyronn Lue around. I don't think he wants some of these other, big figure coaches. I think Kyrie wants to be really innovative. I think he wants to have his mind heard. And, I think Durant wants what Kyrie generally wants, what Kyrie wants. I think he wants Kyrie to be happy and bought into it.
They had the weird Instagram live thing or whatever a few days ago where Kyrie was spewing off a bunch of stuff, and then Durant, it's like if you work in retail or you work in services and you get the weird guy who's coming up, talking to you with conspiracy theories, and then you're just like, oh yeah, sure man, yeah, whatever you say, cool, yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. Who knows? None of us really do. We'll just take one day at a time. That was my vibe with Durant and Kyrie.
Yeah.
It maybe 6 is in the East is too ambitious for them, but they're not going to win the championship, and I just don't see it working out. So, yeah, that's the podcast. We're gonna call it a wraps there. Thank you very much for listening. We are on YouTube. This will be on a YouTube video. That will not be. I'll have to edit the fidget spinner out now. Please give us a sub on YouTube. Like this video. We're on Instagram. Arman wants us to get to 350 followers by Jan 1. So please tell your friends. Go follow us on Instagram. We're on Spotify.
Follow us on Instagram, because we're going to be having merch giveaways, guys.
We are. We totally are.
We are.
Our marketing manager said so. No, but please, we're on.
Better than marketing manager.
Marketing director. Arman's the marketing.
I like director better.
Okay, Arman's the director. Arman watched Wolf of Wall Street once, and he thinks he knows the stock market. All right, that's essentially what Arman is. Listen to us on Spotify. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast. Give us a sub on YouTube. Give us a like. Please tell your friends. Thank you very much to Scott, Arman, and Fuji for appearing on the podcast. It's greatly appreciated. We'll do this again soon. Go Lakers, and we'll chat later.
Lakers.